So we've touched on life, liberty, and property. We've touched on what our founding fathers had in mind when we formed this country, and we've touched on some of the things in the state of Nebraska that I would like to address. But this last one is one that I think is very fundamental that has to be addressed. It's called representation. When we formed it, when our founding fathers did the Constitution, the states, the smaller states, did not want to have a central government because they knew New York would run roughshod over them. So what they did is they formed what was called the Great Compromise. They formed the Senate, which said that each individual state will have 2 representatives. And then the House will have everything based on population. So that way that gave a fair representation to the smaller states. And in Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, it says every single state shall have a Republican form of government. Now that doesn't mean Republicans, it's Republican, it's not a democracy. It's a Republican form of government. So you have a separation of power. So in 1937, Nebraska decided to go with a unicameral. And with that, when they did that, they got rid of the House of Representatives and kept the state, or the Senate. And in the law it said that they could have anywhere from 44 to 50 state senators. Now obviously we stopped at 49 because obviously it's an odd number, so there shouldn't be any ties. But anyway, the point is we kept the Senate and we got rid of the House. And I can show you some maps, but this map right here shows in 1924, it shows the Senate. And it shows that there were 33 legislative seats for the Senate, and that Douglas County had 3 through 7. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it says Lancaster County had 14 and 15. That was why we still had 2 houses. And I have the next map is 1942. Now in 1942, they're called legislative because the House is gone. There's 43 senators, 43 districts. Douglas has 4 through 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 7. Lancaster has 18, 19, 20. That's 3. So that's 10. Those 2 counties had 10 representatives in 1942. Remember, because it's a Senate. For 1958, it looks exactly like 1942. It didn't change. Douglas still has 7, and Lancaster still has 3. It's because it's a Senate. All right, 1968, everything changes. We've got 49 legislative districts, and we have more districts over here in Lancaster and Douglas. I got to tell you what happened. In 1963 or 1964, Alabama was gerrymandering their districts to try and keep all the black people in one area. And as a result of that, Alabama and 4 other states wound up at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court was the Warren Court, and they ruled 8-1, saying that from now on, Alabama and those 4 other states, their districts shall be based on population. There was one judge that dissented. And that one judge's dissent, he said, you are going to destroy rural America. You're misinterpreting the 14th Amendment and one man, one vote. If you live in a district, he said, you have a vote. If you don't like your district, move. Because what Warren Court did was they got rid of our republic. And now the states are all democracies. The states are 100% pure democracies. So as a result of that, this is what we have today. This is our legislative map. 27 of our legislators are in Douglas, Sarpy, and Lancaster County. 3 counties decide how the other 90 counties live. This is not representation. To ask people who live in these counties, I ask them, why do you want to tell me how to raise cattle? And they've responded to me and say, we don't, Dave. We don't want to tell you how to raise cattle. But your 27 senators have no problem telling me I have to have animal ID. Why do you want to tell me whether I can drill a well or not? And they tell me, you don't. We don't. But your 27 senators have no problem telling me I can't drill any more wells. There's no representation out here anymore. I maintain that if we'd have kept the districts like they were, down Highway 20, we probably would have 4 or 5 Norfolks down there now. Down Highway 2, we might have 4 or 5 or 6 Norfolks going that way. Because wherever there is a district, there's political power and there's wealth. And what we're doing is we're changing the districts to meet the population. So we're creating our own feeding frenzy here. The more this grows, the more districts they get, the more power they get. And the rest of us, I guess we're just icing on the cake. So I would like to address that. And it's not just in Nebraska. It's in every single state in the country. So now you see why California is run by the cities along the coast. The people in the rural areas have no voice anymore because their Senate is now based on population, as is all the other 50 Senates in the state or the country. They're all based on population. That's the fall of our country. So with that said, our founding fathers made it clear that a democracy was nothing more than mob rule. Sooner or later, 51% will enslave the other 49. That's why we have Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. But if we think that we are better than past civilizations, and we honestly believe that we can run a democracy, then the only way a democracy works, where there's one man, one vote, there has to be one man, one tax. Only one taxing system. Because if we have property taxes and income taxes and sales tax, two or three can get together and they can write a law to tax one individual out of existence, which is what real estate taxes is doing to us out here. But if you want to make a run at it, the only way you can have a democracy, one man, one vote, it has to be one man, one tax. Ideally, it'd be a poll tax. It's $12 billion budget. You divide it by 1.6 million people, but that poll taxes got voted as illegal a long time ago. But if that's what you want, that's what we got to do.